another episode of Mimi's Musings podcast. I'm your host, Gungu Mildred, and I'm so happy that you've joined me on another Wednesday for another amazing episode. I hope I'm going to remember a lot of this movie, by the way, because I watched it on Wednesday and today is Saturday. I've been meaning to record it since I watched it, but hey, neighbors. Like today, I'm even surprised that they're quiet because they've been waiting at 11 every day, 11:30 p.m. That's when they start cooking, making noise, putting loud music and everything. I was not able to record, and that's usually the time that I can record in the evening, like at night, because during the day, there's more noise because there's the construction outside. There are people around the compound. They're playing music. There are people going up and down the stairs, like normal apartment things. But I'm just praying because now it's just midnight, like just at 1 minute past midnight. So I'm hoping that they won't start making noise. They've been quiet so far, but I've been doing something else. So, I hope that they're going to be quiet. I hope that they're going to behave, that I'll be able to record the whole of this thing without them starting to open the door and talking and cooking and all of that. But yeah, it has been a very stressful week on that front. So I really hope that I'm going to remember a lot of the movie because it was such a good one and very sad. So I'll tell you a few things before I start. One, I was supposed to watch Sugar Rush this week. It's another Nigerian movie. But when I went on Netflix, I found that this one was leaving soon. So it's leaving on the 20th of April. So make sure you watch it immediately because it's a good movie. I want all of you to watch it. Sad, but you should watch it before it leaves Netflix on the 20th of April. And then the week that I was supposed to watch today's movie, I'll watch Sugar Rush. Hopefully it won't have left Netflix as well. So on today's episode, I'm going to be giving a review of the Nigerian movie, The Wildflower. The Wildflower is a 2022 Nigerian drama written by Nneka Ojo, Nii Akinmolayan, Mani Oesiomaye, and Amaka Chidioka. The names, yo. It's directed by Biodun Stephen and produced by Vincent Okonkwo. The cast members include Damilare Kuku, she plays Rolake Dabiri, aka Rolly. Toyin Abraham Ajayemi plays Mama Ada. Sandra Okunzua plays Ada Olisa or Ada. Angel Unigwe plays Cecilia. Imo Ebo plays Yinka. Onyekachi Nochiri plays Dotun. Eso Dike plays Nedu. Caroline Igben plays Lamide. Deyemi Okanlawan plays Gowon Williams. Zubi Michael plays John Tana. Chris Ehewu plays Barrister Tosan. Peace Joel plays Kachi Okafor. Nosa Rex plays Igwe. Nini Mbonu plays Barrister Susan. Kiki Omeli plays Dr. Naomi, amongst other cast members. Now, if you love spoilers like me, continue with this. If you do not like spoilers, leave right now. Go to Netflix, watch the movie, The Wildflower, then come back here and listen to this, watch this, and tell me if you agree with me or not, because this is official spoiler alert. I'm going to give another warning. There's going to be mention of sexual assault and domestic violence. So please be warned before you listen to this if it's going to trigger you and before you watch the movie. I'm going to give you a trigger warning. That is, there's going to be a mention of sexual assault and domestic violence. So please, if you know that these topics are going to trigger you, leave right now. Do not listen to this, but be warned before you watch the movie and before you listen to this that there's going to be triggers. The Wildflower follows these three women. So one of them is Mama Ada Olisa, aka Mama Ada, and the other one is Rolake, aka Rolly, and the other one is Ada Olisa, aka Ada. These three women, they all face different challenges from the men in their lives. So we start the movie with Rolake, aka Rolly. She is in her house. She's practicing how she's going to present herself during an interview for a job. So she's in front of the mirror and she's talking to herself, the way she's going to introduce herself and stuff. Then while she's leaving the house, she meets Ada, who wishes her good luck. And so Orally gives Ada a warning to stay away from this guy, John Tanner. So John Tanner is a neighbor where they live. And this man is old enough to be, I don't know, not enough to be Ada's dad, because Ada was 17 years at the time. But this man is like older than her, in his 20s, maybe late 20s or something. So this man has been trying to get Ada to sleep with him, trying to get her to go to his house and stuff like that. So Ada keeps saying no all the time. And so Rolly had noticed this, and so she warns her against going to his home. And she says, like, I've been trying, I don't want to go to his place. So she goes for the interview and she meets Lamide. Lamide is a secretary in the company that she was going to go for the interview. That is Ocean Heights Construction. So she's going there as an assistant to the CEO. That is Mr. Gowon Williams. So she has been wanting to work for this man. He's one of those people, like you hear them, they've done this, they've done that. They're so big in the business world and everybody knows them, and everybody who's in uni learns about them and they want to work under them or for them or something like that. Just to be in their presence is like this huge thing. So she really, really, really wanted to work in that company. And this man, the moment Rolly enters that office, I was very, like, I felt uneasy. There's a way he was looking at her at first, which was very demeaning, but then he changes his stare at some point and it becomes lustful and you can see it. But because Rolly is so, like, not infatuated, I don't know. She was young and very, impressionable. So she wanted really to impress this guy, and everything he was doing, like the way he would walk, the way he would talk, the way she was just like, oh my God, he is this. And he said this. He was so good during that meeting. Like, she was looking at this guy and going like, he's the best. He is what she wants to be when she grows up. And she had a boyfriend that is Nedu. And Nedu even tried to warn her at some point, because after that interview, she gets a call later while she's with him, I think, and she's told that you have gotten the job. I was like, oh my God, no. As much as I wanted her to get a job, but not with that man. He will just look like a predator. So she starts working, she dresses well. Even the other lady, Lamide, they were dressing so nicely and respectful. But this man, the way he would approach her, the way he would, talk to her, he would be so suggestive. He complimented her hair, asking her if it's her natural hair, and she was like, yes. And she was like, yeah, it looks good, because nowadays most women do not even want to wear their natural hair. They just want to have like wigs and stuff. And another time complimented her lips, I think, which was just so absurd. Like, I didn't like this man. He just gave me bad vibes. I know that goes to say a lot about his acting, but I didn't like him. I didn't like that man from the moment he came on my screen. And so she continues working for him until one time he tells her that they're supposed to go for this business trip to, I think, Abuja. And she goes like, okay. So she goes home, she packs. Her boyfriend tries to warn her, but she's like, no, he's such a good man. It's my job. It's for my job. I have to go. I cannot say no because he's my boss. And when he asks me to go, I have to go. I'm going to pause it at that, and I'll get to somebody else's story. I'll go to Mama Ada's story. Mama Ada, this woman has been suffering through domestic violence from her husband. And she's one of those women who are raised to believe that what a man wants is what he gets. Like, he can beat you, but that means that he only loves you more. He beats you because you're too mouthy. He beats you because it was your fault. Because this man comes home, Mama Ada had a shop. So she will go sell there some things, then come feed her children, rightfully so, and then be like, okay, there's no food. This man, who did not leave a single cent in the house, comes home drunk, saying that he wants food. So of course Mama Adolisa goes like, no, there's no food. And Cecilia, the younger daughter, she goes like, we already ate the food that was there. It was last night's rice and we finished it. This man starts yelling. Mama Ada tells Ada and Cecilia to go to Rolly's home. They used to call her Auntie Rolly. So they go to Auntie Rolly's. They're not related, blood related, but they're, like that, being respectful to your elders. So they were calling her Auntie Rolly. So they go to Rolly's house, and this man remains in the house beating up the wife, like proper beating, and she's just yelling in that house. Nobody's coming to her aid. The next day, Rolly goes to that shop because now she has just gotten the job. She goes to the shop and she's talking to him. Actually, had she been gotten the phone call yet? I don't think she had gotten the phone call to tell her that she has gotten the job yet. It was like when she was waiting. So she goes to the shop and she sees what is happening. There's one of the neighbors, Mama somebody as well. She was there and she looks at her and she goes like, and she does something. I don't know if you can call it a laugh or what, but Mama Ada starts yelling at her because, are you trying to make fun of me or something? So the other woman leaves. When she leaves, Rolly tries to approach the situation in a better way, like laughing and trying to make light of it and going like, why do you allow him to beat you up like that? Because it's not right. And this woman, Mama Ada, actually defends the husband. That's where she goes like, every man beats up his wife. There's no man in Nigeria who does not beat up his wife. You beat your wife because you love her and you want her to be more respectful. And I'm the one who's to blame sometimes because I have a big mouth. And I was like, yo. And Rolly was like, so it was your fault that he beat you. And she laughs and she goes like, yeah, so it was my fault. There's no man who does not beat his wife. Everybody, even you, when you get married, will learn that sometimes your husband will have to beat you. And it was like, no, 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 no. So Rolly leaves. She does not take that information to heart, but a part of it, I think, stayed with her. And you'll understand why when I continue with the story. So she leaves and she goes back home. And then she's with her boyfriend and she gets the call for the job. Now, well, I think she had already started working when she was at her boyfriend's place and she gets a call that she's needed back home. Why? Because Mama Adam was in the house with her children again, this another time, and she was sat on the couch and she was talking with Ada because she was complaining. She sends Ada from the shop and she refuses to go. The reason Ada had refused to go, or she had gone actually, but she was complaining about it, was because she had sent Ada to this man, John Turner, who is another predator. The man who wanted to sleep with Ada, even though she was 17 years and he was way, way older than her. And I don't know if Mama Ada didn't realize that this man was a predator or what was up with her, because the way she was forcing Ada to go to his house, I was questioning her. I was like, are you forcing your daughter to sleep with this man? Don't you know that he's a dangerous guy to your daughter? Or what was happening? Like, I didn't just understand why she was forcing her to go to this man's house, even though Ada was telling her, Mama, I do not want to go to his home. But the mom was very, very insistent until Ada went. And when she went there, this man tried to get her to get into his house. She refused. I love the fact that she stood, on her ground and she was like, I'm not coming inside your house. And it was like, if you do not come, I'm not going to pay you. And she goes like, well, my mom's told me not to go back without the money. And I'm not getting in your house, so you decide. And so he gets in the house, brings out the money, throws it on the floor, and tells her to pick it up. And then she starts calling her selfish, like you're denying, you're being selfish with something that you're supposed to be sharing freely or something like that. He was a predator, the worst kind. And so Ada went. So later on that day, they were at the house and they were arguing about the same situation, about John Turner, because Ada was telling her mom, like, she does not like going to his home. And she was like, I send you and you take forever to come back. I was like, wouldn't you be concerned about that? That you sent your daughter to a man's house and she took forever to come back? Shouldn't you be concerned and be like, okay, maybe he's doing something to her or something, like freak out a little bit? But this woman just looked like she was okay with doing whatever. Like she didn't care. Yo. But anyway, so she walks out of the living room and I think she goes to the bedroom. The mom starts yelling and saying that Ada wants to beat her up. By the way, she was chaotic, but she didn't deserve to be beaten by her husband all the time. So she starts yelling that, overreacting, because that is what African moms do. She started overreacting, saying that Ada wanted to beat her up. She calls Cecilia and tells Cecilia, yeah, your sister wants to beat me up. Where's your dad? Because he wanted to be called Igwe, or this is something he wanted to be called, like his full name. I don't know. He were told the girls not to call her dad, not to call him Papa. He didn't want them to call him Dad. So there's something, I think his full name or something. But on the Nini, he was credited as Igwe. but I don't know. I don't remember whatever name he was using. But there was a Mr. Something something. So she starts calling him, and he arrives at home. And so she goes like, yeah, your daughter wanted to beat me up. And he goes like, why? And they start talking about it, and then she does something because actually her dad didn't go to the bedroom. She left the house. And then when the dad arrived, it was only Cecilia and the mom who were there. And they start talking. And then she asks Cecilia to leave to go to Rolly's house. So Cecilia leaves. And then he starts beating her up again. I don't remember what she had said, but they had argued a little bit. And so he starts beating her up. And this time he beats her until he kills her. This man tries to get her to wake up, but she's not. She just, she shakes a little bit on the ground and then she's gone. So this man, he runs away after that. He leaves the mom there for his daughters to come and find. So when Cecilia is out, she's going to Rolly's place. Ada comes and finds the sister and they start talking. And she's like, okay, why are you here? She goes like, Mom, they're fighting again. Because they could even hear them from where they were. And then Ada decides to go and check on the mom. When she gets to the house, the dad is nowhere to be seen and the mom is on the floor. She tries to get her to wake up, but of course, she's already dead. So she starts screaming. Cecilia comes. Rolly was not at home at that time. She was with her boyfriend at his home. And that's when she gets the phone call to come back because Mama Ada is no more. So she comes back. When she gets back to the house, now this is where the stories combine. When she gets back to her home, she wants, she's asking the other woman if she can take in the girls because they're a community and the girls are going to be by themselves. They can't live in their home because their dad has just killed their mom in there. And so this other woman, she goes like, I would have helped them, but I have many children. So Rolly decides to take the girls in. So they start living with her and they are sad. They're still mourning their mom. It hadn't even been a week when the boss tells her that they need to go for a business trip. The boyfriend tries to warn her. Actually, he warned her about, taking in the girls. But I was like, yeah, no, man. These girls need somebody who can take care of them and they're comfortable with Rolly. So if she's willing to take care of them, let her. But when he was warning her about that boss of hers, I was with him because Nedu didn't want her to go for that trip. And he was like, look at everything you are going through at the moment. You have so many things that you need to work through. Why can't you just, not go for that business trip and take care of the girls if that's what you want or something like that? And so she goes like, no, that's from work. I have to go. Who are you going to leave the girls with? And she goes like, I'm going to find somebody. So she talks to this other mama so and so, and that mama agrees as long as Rolly pays her. So she leaves the girls with her for a couple of days while she's going for this business meeting. So then in the car, they're going to Abuja. When they get to a place and she goes like, hey, excuse me, driver, this is not the way to, I don't know what hotel. The boss tells her, actually, we're not going to be staying at the hotel. I saw online that it's not, I don't know, good or ideal or something. So I booked us like something like an Airbnb. She worries about it, but not really, because in her mind, she has no reason to be afraid of this man. He's her boss. She worships him. So she has no reason to be afraid of him. But I was thinking, if I was her, my boyfriend's words would have come back to my mind and I would be like, yeah, you know what? Let me just book myself a room somewhere else because I'm not living with you in a home. It's one thing to be in a hotel where we have different rooms, there's security, there's there are cameras, but in a home that I do not even know where it is. The boyfriend was trying to call her to apologize because they had left the situation not so well, but she didn't pick up. He called her a couple of times while they were in the car. So they arrived at the place and they were supposed to go for this meeting with this other business partner. And the dress that she was wearing for that, it was amazing. We only see a little clip of that dress because they don't show us like, well, they were at the party or whatever. But then they show us later when they're back in the room. And she's in her night dress and she's wearing even that thing for the head, like I don't know, it has a name, whatever. And this man comes into her room and she was working on the presentation that I was supposed to give the next day. And he comes and she goes like, okay, here's the presentation, you can check it. This man goes through the email, the presentation that she had made, and he goes like, no, it's not ideal. It's not perfect. We need to make it perfect. So he sits And so they start working on it. She's in her night dress. It wasn't revealing or anything. It was a nice dress, but still, that's her bedroom. And I don't even know why her door was open, because I would have locked that door. But anyway, again, she didn't feel like she had a need to worry about the boss being a pervert, because actually while they were in the car, this man got a phone call. I don't know if it was real or she was faking it, but he was apparently talking to his wife and his children, or one of his children, and he was saying, say hi to mama and I love you guys, I don't know, something like that. So I think that lowered her guard, because she was like, he's a married guy. And so he starts telling her to edit, and they continue doing that. Then he's touching her shoulders, and then she swats him, and she goes like, boss, you can't do that, sir. And then he's like, no, you feel like you're so tense, relax. Then he does it again, and when she fights him off again, this man forces her on the bed, and he takes advantage of her. She tries to fight, but eventually she just does that, something that most women do in such a situation. Like, he's already inside, so yeah, fighting won't do anything. And so she just lies there. This man does his thing, and then later on, he throws money. Hey, guy. I knew this movie was going to be heavy because I had seen the warning, but I did not expect that. I felt like punching my TV. I felt like punching that man, this Mr. Go On. I felt like punching him in the face. He throws money at her on the bed, and she has tears in her eyes. And he tells her it would have gone easier if she wouldn't have fought, or if she would have been more willing to do whatever he wanted, or something like that. Like, you should watch it to hear what he says. I swear to you, you're going to be so upset. And so he says that, and then he leaves, and goes like, use that money to buy some morning after pill. And then he walks out. In my head, I'm like, now leave. Because before, maybe you didn't have your, warning signs and the red flags and everything. You didn't see any of them. But now that he has actually done something bad to you, you have the proof inside of you, because he didn't use any protection. She would have gone to the police, immediately gone to the hospital. They would have taken the samples, the rape kit and stuff. She would have had evidence. Like, leave. I was like, leave. Next day, they're from a meeting. The meeting they were supposed to go to. So meaning she showered, she's dressed differently, and they're down the stairs, and that man is shaking the boss's hand, and then he goes to shake hers, but she doesn't do it, and then he leaves, and this boss warns her, like, you should behave better. Like, are you still upset? And she's like, he goes to touch her, she moves aside a little bit, but I'm like, you're flinching and you're still with him. What the hell are you doing? So they go back to Lagos. I think that's where they were. They go back to Lagos, and this woman is just like, okay with work. So while that was happening to her, when this man was taking advantage of her, on the other side, back in Lagos, Ada, she had gone back to their home, even though she was not supposed to go back. So she was there checking her mom's things, and she was crying and crying. She was sad. Her sister had remained at the other woman's house. So she leaves the house, and she goes outside the house, and she starts crying. Like, she was crying. She had covered herself with her mom's lasso or something, and she's crying, crying, crying. Guess who comes over? John Tanner. This man comes trying to console her and telling her that everything is going to be okay. Then he takes her to his home. I don't know why she agreed. She was sad. But then he was like, don't worry. Uncle John Tanner is here. He's going to take care of you. You should trust me. I'm a very good person. I cannot hurt you. And in her weakness, in that weak moment, she agreed to go home with him. Even knowing that this man is a terrible man. While she wasn't mourning, she always said no to him. This time she follows him into his house. Now, this man is drinking alcohol. He has a couple of bottles there. And I think there was juice or soda. And I think he had served her that. So he's trying to console her, telling her all these nonsensical things. And she's still crying. She just still had tears in her eyes. And then all of a sudden, he's on top of her, trying to take advantage of her. He pushes her clothes aside, and he wants to force himself on her. The same thing that the boss is doing to Rolly on the other side. Luckily, we don't see everything on this other side, but when we see Ada again, she's outside, she's crying, and she has blood on her hands, and the other lady was looking for her. And so she's crying and she's saying he wanted to rape me. He wanted to rape me. The lady goes inside to check because she saw the blood and she was worried. She goes inside the house and she finds the man. She had hit him with something on the head. I think stabbed him or something. There was something that she had used to defend herself. And I was like, thank you, baby. Oh my God. That moment I was so happy because I was like, the same thing cannot be happening to these two women at the same time. Because who's going to console who? Like both of them will be traumatized. Don't get me wrong. Different levels, but the same still. Because how will Ada ever look at a man and not think that that is what they're going to do, that that's all they're about? And for Rolly, I don't know. So the lady looks at him and she goes like, yeah, you deserve that. She should have even done worse, stabbed you to death. Because what were you trying to do? So this man is taken to the hospital. But then nobody reports this. They had called the police, but the police was saying that it's late, it's at night, they cannot come, blah, blah, blah. But luckily, the next day, Rolly comes back. Or was it the same day? I'm not sure whether it was the same day or the next day, but Rolly comes back and they take Ada to the hospital. Because she came back after her own ordeal, she comes back and she hears what has happened to Ada. And Rolly is so worried that she's like, okay, we have to take you to the hospital. She's not worried for herself. She's worried for Ada. And Ada is there like, why did you leave us? Why did you leave us? I was like, one, Mama, you are not even supposed to leave this other woman's house. Why did you go to your mom's home? You knew you're not supposed to go there. And why did you go with John Tanner? I am not blaming the victim. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that part where she was blaming Rolly for leaving them. That's where I was like, why? Like you are left in a safe place. You shouldn't have gone out. And I understand grief and everything, but her blaming Rolly, and Rolly was also going through her own thing. I sort of wanted to defend Rolly a little bit. But anyway, none of what happened was their fault as the women. So Ada is taken to the hospital by Rolly, and that's the next day, and she's checked by a female doctor. Luckily, the man did not penetrate, so at least he hadn't done the whole thing, and she had defended herself, which was very good. And but the doctor still recommends to put her on PEP, just to prevent anything that might have gone through, because they are not sure how close he came to her lady parts and stuff. And so we'll start you on PEP and some antibiotics and stuff like that. And she goes like, okay. So Rolly asked like, why will she be put on PEP? So when the doctor explains, it's to prevent infections and HIV and blah blah blah. And she goes like, won't it be late? And she goes like, no, as long as it's not past 72 hours, that's okay. So she, like, that's the moment she has realized that, oh my God, I should have done this as well. So she asks Ada to wait for her outside the doctor's office, and then she talks to the doctor and she goes like, hi, I think I should also be put on the PEP and the antibiotics. And she goes like, why? And she goes like, I just had unprotected sex with somebody that I don't trust so much. And she goes like, are you sure that's what happened? Was it consensual? She lies and she says yes. I'm like, hey, I know she's a victim. I know. And I do not know what she was trying to protect, because she was blaming herself. I understand that. Like, I shouldn't have gone for that trip. I shouldn't have let him into my room. I shouldn't. You put the blame on yourself. And you are absolving the predator of all the parts that he played. And so I was like, oh my God, Rolly. Oh my God, Rolly, just don't. But anyway, she lies to the doctor and she leaves. When she goes to try to get Ada to go, the doctor follows. And she's like, excuse me, Rolly, the conversation we just had, because the doctor had told her that the medication she'll have to buy for herself, because the free samples, they're given to victims of rape. Because she had, given consent, then she would have to buy her own. And she was like, okay, that's okay, I'll do that. So while they're going outside, the doctor tries to ask about it, and Rolly lies about it, and she goes like, no, it's fine, it was consensual, it's okay. So they leave. As they're leaving, she gets a phone call from Lamide, the other secretary, the secretary from the office. And she's like, okay, so Mr. Gowon has told me to tell you to pack a bag that you're going to leave for I don't know where tomorrow. South Africa, I think it was tomorrow for a couple of days. And I was like, if you say yes, hey, hey. Luckily, this time she was like, no, tell him that I'm busy, I'm dealing with a personal matter. And so just like that, that's done. She goes back, she's taking care of the girls, and then she goes to work the next day, I think. And as she gets into the office, she says hi to Lamide, who was talking to somebody else, and she passes by her going to her workspace. And Lamide is following her, telling her, calling her, and being like, Rolly, Rolly, like as if she didn't get the, and she asked, like, you didn't get the email from the HR or something. She gets to her workspace, and there's another woman sitting there, a new secretary already. Then the Mr. Predator, Mr. Gowon, comes out, talks to this new secretary, that is Kachi, and it's as if Rolly is not even there. And I think that's when it finally dawns on her that, this man, this is what he does. And he's punishing me after he took advantage of me. And now he wants to do the same to another woman. So Lamide tells her that, I thought that you had gotten the email from the HR. And since I called you and you did not come, I think that's why he got upset and hired somebody else. And she was like, oh, okay. I had just hope that the other girl knows what she's getting herself into. And so she walks off, and the next scene, she's with the doctor in the doctor's car. And she's like, oh, I lied to you yesterday. You are right. This man, he does this. That is Mr. Gowon. So apparently, because at the hospital, the doctor had mentioned that I saw while we were talking earlier, you said you work for Ocean Heights Construction. And I've had a couple of patients who have come in after being taken advantage of by somebody from that place. And so that's when she was like, no, that's not me. And so this time she goes like, yeah, it's true. And it's Mr. Gowon, the boss. He did that to me. And I think he wants to do the same to this other lady. And so they start talking, and they get a lawyer from this, I think it's a charity or something that helps women who deal with sexual assault and stuff. And so it's like now it's downing on her, like what happened to her, that it wasn't her fault. Because she even went and spoke to Nedu. She was in so much pain, talked to him after coming from the hospital, explaining to him. And this man, he flips on her and he goes like, I told you, I warned you not to go to him, like go with him. And I was like, this is not the time. This is not the time for I told you so. Like, this is not the time. And he walks out on her. So I think all of that was just weighing on her. And so she's crying. She tries to take a shower. Like, you're trying to wash all that away. But it has already happened. No matter how many baths you take, man. Oh, God. But anyway, she goes online and she's talking to her followers. She's like, I know I don't have so many people, so many followers, but even just the 1 or 10 of you who are watching, this is what happened. And so she posts it. She confesses what happened. She talks about what happened, the way he tricked her into going to that place, and the way he took advantage of her, and how he fired her afterwards and everything. This man hears what has happened, and he's losing clients here and there. He decides to sue her for defamation. And so his lawyer, that is Barrister Tosan, he goes like, don't worry, they have no proof, but we have proof because of that video that is tarnishing your name. And this man, imagine, even, was it after? It was just before, I think, the video came out, or was it just after? He took advantage of the new secretary, that is Kachi. He didn't even go away with her. He took advantage of her in the office. And then again, threw money at her and told her to take some morning after pill. And so this woman's right activist or whatever she was, they go to, I think that was Barrister Susan. They go to one of the former victims who had been treated by Dr. Naomi, and they go to her, and this lady refuses to talk about what happened because all of these women were young and impressionable at the time that this man took advantage of them. And so they blamed themselves more than they blamed him. And so none of them wanted to come out. So after she comes out and talks about it, that's when other women now starts coming out. I think Kachi also spoke about it. Other women spoke about it, but none of them had proof. And so in court, when the case finally begins, this Barrister Tosan tries to make it look like she threw herself at him. Even when he was questioning that bastard go on, and he was, grinning and smirking, and I wanted just to slap him through my TV. And he made it look like she's the one who seduced him, and then she took money from him. But eventually there's another woman who came out, someone who he had taken advantage of years ago. I think one of the first ones, that is Yinka. Yinka was married to Dotun, and he was a pastor. So he goes like, she wants to come out, but he doesn't want her to because they're now married and he's a pastor, they're people from the church, and he doesn't want their name to be ruined, blah, 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 blah. But eventually he agrees, and she had a recording that she has sent to her friend, and luckily the friend had kept it. And so they used that recording in court to prove like what he had said to her. Like afterwards, he threw money at her and stuff like that. And so that is how they get the confirmation that what Rolly had said was true. And by the way, there's a point where Ada was arrested because Jontana's mom came yelling with the police and saying that this woman almost killed her son. And when she was like, no, I did not do that. Your son tried to rape me. She was like, my son cannot do that. What do you have that he would want to be with you? Like, you look like, I don't know what she started insulting her and stuff. So I was afraid that was going to happen to Rolly as well. But luckily, Rolly had come with the doctor because she had already seen the doctor, and they gave the documentation to the police officers, and she was released. So now this moment I was like, okay, hope they will not take this woman to prison, because imagine the victim paying for the crime that this predator did. Like, it was just anyway. So they do that, but luckily after Yinka gives the audio and they listen to it, he was found guilty and taken, I think he was convicted. So I don't know how many years he had, and Rolly is the one who ended up getting, was it 50 million naira as a reward, or was it 25 or 20 or something like that? But she ended up getting a lot of money at the end from this court case. But the man was taken to prison, I don't know for how many years, and that's where the movie ended. And I was like, oh my God, that was good. Like, him getting in prison and her getting money as compensation. I know it will never, give her back what she lost, the peace of mind, the stability, but it's something. And maybe she can use it for, supporting other women who have gone through the same thing. So I was like, yeah, it's not the best situation, but it's like, that's sort of the best outcome for something like this, honestly. But yeah, that's where the movie ended. And actually, Nedu came around at the end and he wanted to reach out, but she refused to answer his phone calls. He was there at the court, but I don't know if she ever forgave him. I wouldn't have, honestly. Even if you are having a lapse of judgment at the moment, like, no, I come to you and I tell you that I went through this ordeal and you make it about you, Mr. Man. Yeah, so that is The Wildflower. It's an amazing movie. I loved it. And it had little moments that were very painful. Not little moments, they were big moments. Those moments were very painful. When Ada's mom was killed, big moment. When Ada was almost, taken advantage of by Jontana, big moment. When Rolly was taken advantage of, big moment. And this man actually told her, like, are you upset about this little incident? I was like, it's not a little incident. It's not a little incident. What you have done, what you have taken away from her, she can never get back. And the boyfriend had actually told her that she does not make, you do not make the best decisions. And I was like, what? There's a moment he had said that is Nedu. And I was like, Mr. Man, yeah. But anyway, this movie was heavy. This movie was heavy, especially watching it after. I don't know if you have been online last week, but one where there was this rape culture in Nigeria where men, there's one day, I think, in the year or something, men are allowed to take advantage of any woman they see on the street. So women are advised to stay indoors and lock the doors and everything, not to go out at all, like not to be outdoors. And so there's this young woman who, I don't know, she hadn't known what was happening or what happened. And this group of men ran after her, caught up with her, put her down, and they took turns taking advantage of her. Even younger boys, like people that she could call her sons, they did this to her. And it wasn't until people put it on social media and people are complaining about it all over, that's when the police came to stop this incident from continuing. So, like, watching this movie after that, yo, and that part where she was the victim, but she almost went to prison, where Ada was the victim, and she also almost ended up in prison. She was actually taken to jail because of a mother who was protecting her son, who was a predator. Like, yo, I'm telling you, while I started to watch this movie, I knew it was going to be heavy, as I said, but I didn't know that it was going to be this heavy. I didn't know. When the women were being taken advantage of, I was like, domestic violence, I've watched it, I have understood it. But that, it's heavy. I'll tell you that. It's very, very heavy. So if you listen to this before you go to watch the movie, just know if you cannot take it, I've told you almost all the story actually. I haven't, like, my synopsis has not been a synopsis at all. Like, I've told you most of the story. So if you cannot watch such heavy material, do not go and watch it. But I loved it. It was so good. Those actors were so amazing. The lady who plays Adolisa is the lady who played on the Something Like Gold, that movie, and I loved her there and I loved her here as well. She plays a nice teenager. Like, the way she was behaving, it was so innocent and so nice. Or maybe she was still a teenager at the time, but no, 2022, and then the movie came. I don't know. Yeah, so no, she's not that young, but yeah, they played their parts very well. Even Mama Ada, that woman with the mouth. But it was so sad that it ended up with her death. I don't know if they never arrested the dad, the husband who had killed her. So he just walked free. Like, such things were making me feel like getting into my TV and doing some damage. Yo. But anyway, that was the Wildflower. As I said, I like their acting. I loved Rolly's and Nedu's chemistry before everything happened. I loved her acting with Dr. Naomi and the chemistry between her and the two sisters. They behaved like really they were family, which was amazing. And she was really there for them. So that was good. I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. I know it wasn't all that. I'm just giving it basically going on emotion because I love the things that they tackled and how keeping quiet and how society keeping quiet ends up with a lot of people's ruins. You know, how you believe that you are the problem. Like, this woman was like, she's Yoruba. And so she was like, I had to get the beating from my husband. I have a loud mouth, and so he has to beat me up. And that is how men from our community do. I don't want to be the black. Actually, she said she doesn't want to be the black sheep, the only woman who's not beaten by her husband. People might think that she is a problem. She is the problem because her husband is not beating her up. I was like, what? So I'll give it a 9 out of 10 because of such things. The things they were talking about, the things they were, bringing to light, actually. Because, my friends, I really felt bad for everybody involved. It was so heavy. None of them deserved any of what happened. The ladies, that is. The men deserved to be put in prison. Like, sometimes I say, like, any victim of rape or any kind of sexual violence, they should be the ones to punish the person who did that to them, unless they really don't want to see them again. Because I would want to be given a gun, told to shoot this man. You know that part in the Bible that says, whatever part causes you to sin, give me a gun, let me cut it off. Let me do whatever I want to do with that gun to that part that made you sin. Let me be the one who punishes you. But yeah, if I continue talking about this movie, it's going to be over 1 hour. So I'm going to leave it at this. As I said, I loved it. It was painful. It was very heavy, but I enjoyed it. And you should go and watch it on Netflix before it leaves. That is on the 20th of April. So make sure to go and watch it. And I think maybe you can find it somewhere else. Most Nigerian movies, you can find them on YouTube. So I don't know if it's there. So if it's not on Netflix, you can check it on YouTube. See if it's there. The Wildflower. If it is, watch it. And I promise you're going to like it. Even though the themes are very, very heavy. Okay? So yeah, make sure to watch it, then come back here and tell me if you agree with me or if you do not. Go to my Instagram when I post it and tell me the same. Follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. By the way, Mimi's Musings Podcast. I'm still baking. Please make your orders and then come back here, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button so that whenever I upload something new, you're going to be amongst the first people to come and watch. Okay? Bye-bye now.